So there are 5 people taking the Fifth Amendment, like you see on the mob, right? You see the mob takes the Fifth. If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
Anyone in my position not taking the Fifth Amendment would be a fool. Accordingly, under the advice of my counsel and for all of the above reasons, I respectfully decline to answer the questions under the rights and privileges afforded to every citizen under the United States Constitution. This will be my answer to any further questions.
Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Thursday, February 2nd, 2023. Welcome to day 744. The FBI says it plans to search Mike Pence's Indiana home looking for classified material in the coming days. Last month, Pence's lawyers said they'd found several classified documents at his home and turned them over to authorities. The investigation into classified documents that Trump took to Mar-a-Lago, meanwhile, has escalated for more than a year and now includes a criminal investigation into possible obstruction, among other potential crimes, which Special Counsel Jack Smith is overseeing. Moving on, House Republicans removed Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee for making what Kevin McCarthy described as repeated anti-Semitic and anti-American remarks. After entering Congress in 2019, Omar angered both Democrats and Republicans for suggesting on Twitter that Israel's political allies in the United States were motivated by money rather than principle, saying it's all about the Benjamins, baby. In a party-line vote, the resolution condemned Omar for using an anti-Semitic trope connecting Jews to money and disapproved of Omar equating atrocities by the U.S. military to those committed by groups like the Taliban and Hamas. Omar is a refugee from Somalia and is one of the first Muslim women to ever serve in the House of Representatives, and she apologized for her comments at the time. Democrats, meanwhile, criticized the push to oust Omar, arguing that it amounts to an act of political retribution after Democrats stripped Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar of their assignments last term for violent rhetoric and social media posts. Meanwhile, Mitch McConnell removed Senator Rick Scott from the Senate Commerce Committee as retribution for trying to replace him as the leader of the GOP conference. McConnell also removed Mike Lee from the committee, who supported Scott's effort to oust McConnell. Moving on, Trump invoked the Fifth Amendment and declined to answer questions on more than 400 occasions during an August deposition as part of the New York Attorney General's civil investigation into the Trump Organization's business practices. About a month later, Attorney General Letitia James filed a lawsuit against Trump, 3 of his children, and executives from his business, accusing them of a long-running scheme to inflate the value of their properties. In the video, Trump says, "This whole thing is very unfair. Anyone in my position not taking the Fifth Amendment would be a fool, an absolute fool," adding, on the advice of counsel, "I respectfully decline to answer the questions under the rights and privileges afforded to every citizen under the United States Constitution." Meanwhile, Hunter Biden's attorneys demanded that state and federal prosecutors open criminal investigations into who accessed and disseminated his personal data, and they threatened Fox News' Tucker Carlson with a defamation lawsuit for allegedly failing to correct false statements he made. Hunter's lawyers claim that Trump's allies broke the law in an effort to weaponize the personal data of Joe Biden's son during the 2020 election. It's the first time that Biden and his legal team have publicly addressed the reports that his personal data was found on a laptop left at a Delaware repair shop and shared by Republican operatives before the 2020 election. A letter sent to the DOJ's National Security Division asked for an investigation into individuals for whom there is considerable reason to believe violated various federal laws in accessing, copying, manipulating, and/or disseminating Mr. Biden's personal computer data. That includes Rudy Giuliani, who was Trump's lawyer at the time, former computer repair shop owner John Paul Mac Isaac, as well as Steve Bannon and their attorney Robert Costello. Biden's attorneys wrote a similar letter to the Delaware Attorney General's office requesting a probe into the same people, alleging that they violated various Delaware laws in accessing Biden's information from what Trump has called the laptop from hell. And finally, a federal judge ruled that a wrongful death lawsuit filed by the father of a man who was shot and killed by Kyle Rittenhouse will be allowed to proceed. Rittenhouse was acquitted in 2021 of homicide charges after the then 17-year-old shot 3 men with an AR-style rifle at an August 2020 protest for racial justice in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He killed 2 of them, Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum. Huber's father, John Huber, filed a civil suit over his son's death. Rittenhouse has maintained that he acted in self-defense. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.